You ever feel stuck? Like you're putting in all this effort, you're trying so hard, but your life just isn't changing? Well, you're definitely not alone. But what if I told you the reason has nothing to do with how hard you're working? What if the problem isn't your drive at all, but your entire approach? Let's get into it.
So, what's the first thing we blame? Laziness. It's the go-to explanation, right? I know what I should be doing, I just can't seem to make myself do it. I'm just lazy. Sound familiar? And if it's not laziness, it's got to be a lack of motivation. We tell ourselves, if I could just get that spark, that jolt of inspiration, then everything would just click, and I'd finally get it done. But what if both of those are just wrong? What if you're not lazy, and you don't need some magical burst of motivation? What if the real reason nothing's changing is because the very method you're using, the one we're all taught, is fundamentally broken? Yeah, and this brings us to something we can call the self-improvement trap. It's a way of thinking that looks and feels totally logical on the surface, but underneath, it's almost designed to lead to failure.
See, we are obsessed with these huge, dramatic transformations. You know the ones. Lose 20 pounds in 30 days. Become a millionaire this year. We want the explosion. But real life, it just doesn't work that way. It changes quietly, slowly, through these tiny, little accumulations.
And this gets to the absolute magic of compounding. Seriously, think of it like interest in a savings account, but for your habits. One good choice today, it's not going to change your life. But making that same small choice day after day after day, well, that builds a force that eventually becomes unstoppable.
Okay, so let's build on that, because this next part, it kind of flips one of the most common pieces of advice you'll ever hear on its head. We have to start looking beyond just setting big goals.
Now, stop and really think about this for a second. It's such a hard truth. Every single athlete at the Olympics wants to win the gold medal. Every startup founder wants to build a billion-dollar company. The goal itself, that's not what separates the winners from everybody else. So if it's not the goal, then what in the world is it? It's the system. This is the whole ballgame. Look at the difference. When you're goal-obsessed, happiness is always somewhere off in the future, just over the next hill. But when you're system-focused, progress itself is the reward. You don't need motivation because the process just becomes automatic. So let's be super clear. Goals aren't useless. No way. They're fantastic for setting your direction, for pointing the ship where you want it to go. But it's your systems, the little things you do every single day that actually push the ship forward and make the progress happen.
Okay, but I know what you're thinking. This brings up a massive problem. When you focus on these tiny little systems, it often feels like you're just spinning your wheels, right? Like you're getting absolutely nowhere. Let's talk about why that feeling is totally an illusion.
Okay, picture this with me. I want you to imagine a single ice cube sitting on a table in a really cold room. And we're going to slowly raise the temperature, just 1 degree at a time, and see what happens. All right, so the temperature starts climbing. It goes from 25 degrees to 26 to 27. You're putting in the energy. You're doing the work. But you look over at that ice cube, and what do you see? Nothing. It is still just a solid block of ice. And you keep going, 28 degrees, 29, 30, all the way to 31. And still, nothing has visibly changed. This right here, this is that incredibly frustrating part of any new habit, where you're showing up, you're doing the thing every day, but you have 0 results to show for it. And this is the moment. This is that 31-degree mark. This is the danger zone where almost everyone gives up. They decide, well, the system isn't working. All that effort was a complete waste of time. But then the temperature ticks up just 1 more degree. At 32 degrees, bam, the breakthrough happens. The ice begins to melt. So ask yourself, did that 1-degree jump do all the work? Of course not. That change was earned by all those invisible degrees that came before it. Your work is never wasted. It's just being stored. And that idea, that leads us to the most powerful, most important concept in this entire explainer. Because lasting change isn't about what you get or even what you do. It's about who you believe you are. Think of change happening on 3 levels, like layers of an onion. On the very outside, you've got your results, the outcomes you want. A little deeper, you've got your processes, your habits and systems. But right at the core, that's your identity, your deepest beliefs about yourself. Almost everyone tries to change from the outside in, and that is exactly why they fail. Because real, true, lasting change, it always flows from the inside out. See, the goal isn't just to run a marathon.
It's to become a runner. The goal isn't just to write a book, it's to become a writer. When you change who you believe you are at your core, your actions just naturally line up. So that leaves one giant question, right? How in the world do you change your identity? Well, it's not about waking up one day and just deciding you're a new person. It's way, way more practical than that.
This is the key. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. You're not just doing a workout, you're casting a vote for, I'm a healthy person. You're not just writing one page, you're casting a vote that says, I'm a writer. You are literally building a pile of evidence for a new identity.
Okay, so let's wrap this all up. Here's the new blueprint for real, lasting change. Tiny habits, they compound into huge outcomes. Progress is almost always invisible before it becomes obvious. You have to get past 31 degrees. Systems are what actually change lives, not goals. And most importantly, your identity is the foundation of everything, and it's built one small vote at a time.
Because in the end, this isn't really about what you achieve. It's about who you become. Your daily habits aren't just shaping your waistline or your bank account, they are literally shaping the person you see in the mirror. And once your identity truly starts to shift, your life has no choice but to follow right along with it.